Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
First and foremost, let's congratulate Cassie and her husband Alex Fine on the birth of their brand new baby boy. So while congratulations are in order, they are requesting privacy at this time. So let's get on with the case. We have officially made it to day number 11 of Diddy's trafficking and racketeering trial. So yesterday, week number 3 kicked off with a dramatic start with Capricorn Clark testifying. Now, she is Diddy's former assistant, and if any of Diddy's assistants had been through hell and back, it would definitely be Capricorn Clark. Now, Clark, who worked on and off for Diddy, painted a picture of chaos behind the scenes at Bad Boy Records. She broke down in court saying she wanted her life back and that she and Diddy once chased Kid Cudi through the streets after a Diddy-triggered incident. She testified that she saw Diddy kick Cassie in the street and once waved possibly a gun at her meaning Capricorn Clark. Clark also described being fired after reporting a possible kidnapping to Bad Boy's president at the time, Harve Pierre, and being forced to cut her vacation with Rihanna short for a meeting she felt was a setup. An email shown in court revealed she planned to secretly record that meeting, and shortly after, she was fired. After losing her job, Clark said her life unraveled. She lost her house, car, benefits, and struggled to care for her autistic nonverbal son. When she tried to get work elsewhere, she claimed music executive Jimmy Iovine warned her to stay away from Diddy or things would be bad for her. She said Diddy told her she'd never work again and would end up unaliving herself. She also testified about missing opportunities, including one with 50 Cent's team that fell through after Chris Lighty, who arranged it, died the day before she was set to sign the deal. Emotional messages from Clark to Diddy were shown in court, some where she apologized and said that she wanted her life back, and one she said she was never my friend, she wanted me gone, referencing Cassie. In another message, she said, "Your grace period to be mad at me has surpassed the agreed upon time." Clark said that she hoped reconciling in 2023 would prove that she wasn't a threat after Cassie's civil lawsuit dropped. She also admitted that once she encouraged Cassie to leave Diddy, but Cassie allegedly replied, "Jay-Z is taken. Who else would I date?"
She ain't no diva. She ain't no diva.
So we are going to jump into trial day number 11 without further ado. But before we do that, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this case and so much more. Now let's get back into it. Okay, so before the jury is brought in, the judge says, let's address this. All the government is saying is that the message shows Ms. Ventura's state of mind. Donaldson from Combs' defense team says that's the problem with not being able to recall Ms. Ventura as a witness. Prosecution says all Mr. Nash will quote is, "He's making me freak off on my birthday. She didn't want to go." Shapiro with Combs' team says a spouse might say, "He's making me go to a Rangers game. I'd rather not tonight." Judge says you could have cross-examined Ms. Ventura about this. Judge says every day I'm getting these letters. These issues should have been raised pre-trial in motions in limine. Let's go ahead and bring the jury in. All rise, the jurors enter. The government calls LAPD officer Christopher Ignacio. The witness takes the stand. Prosecutor says, what is a radio call? Someone calls 911 and it gets sent to the next available LAPD unit on duty. On December 22nd, 2011, what was your shift? 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in a marked police vehicle. What do you remember? Got a call around 8 o'clock a.m., code 3 with lights and sirens to 8925 Hollywood Hills Road. What did you find there? An Escalade. I memorized the license plate. Why? I thought it could be involved in a crime, the way it left so soon when I got there. Why didn't you go after it? We didn't have a crime yet. The front door was unlocked. We went in. So when you got in, what did you see? High-end watches and purses, some wrapped, some unwrapped. 2 detectives showed up. When we came out, I saw the same black Escalade now driving down the hill. Then what? Mr. Mescudi arrived in a Porsche. You ran the plate of the Escalade? Yes, it came back as Bad Boy Records. No further questions. Judge says cross-examination, Mr. Steele. Brian Steele, Combs' attorney, steps up and says, this was 13 years ago, right? Yes. You read your partner's report, right? Yes. The streets there are all dead ends. According to the map, it's a beautiful neighborhood, right? Cul-de-sac? Sure. You don't follow the car as it drives away, right? Right. Did you see a Porsche? I don't know. Do you know the definition of kidnapping? Objection. Sustained. Were you told the homeowner was in the house shortly before you and your partner got there? Objection. Overruled. The door was unlocked? Yes. There was no furniture upended, right? No. You called it a trespass, not a burglary, right? Because, objection. I think sustained. No report of theft? No. If you thought there was a gun in the Escalade, you could have put out a BOLO, right? Objection. Overruled. You didn't, right? Right. Any mention of security cameras? I saw some. Mr. Muscuddy wasn't hyperventilating, right? He was tense, I'd say. Did you search his Porsche? No. It was 8:20 a.m., not 6:30 a.m., right? Right. Nothing further. No redirect. The government calls LA arson investigator Lance Jimenez. I'll place a binder in front. The witness takes the stand. How many fires have you investigated? 100 a year, everything between mansions to dumpster fires. LA is pretty crazy. Did you respond as an expert to an auto fire at 8925 Hollywood Hills Road? Yes, there was a cut in the roof of a Porsche. What about inside the Porsche? Burn patterns inside? Any items? A bottle on the front seat, a handkerchief burned, a lighter on the ground. What hypothesis did you draw? Molotov cocktail? How did you think it got in? Someone lit it, cut the roof, and dropped it in. Now, Jimenez testified that the designer type handkerchief in the case was made of a silky type material that fell out of its 40-ounce old English malt liquor bottle. As a result, the bottle didn't break and the gasoline didn't dispense. Had the bottle broken as intended, Jimenez said that the damage to the car would have been far worse and the fire could have spread to the surrounding vegetation and to Kid Cudi's home. Okay, so let me show you some photos. This is the black Porsche that was burned, right? Yes. What kind of bottle was used? Old English 800 malt liquor. And the wick? A designer type scarf, silky. In my opinion, this was targeted. The partial DNA profile, was it consistent with a female contributor? I was told that. Do you know what it means? No. Do you know if it's possible to touch an item without leaving DNA? Objection. Sustained. Okay, so what happened to print cards? They were destroyed in 2012. On whose order? Someone in LAPD. Not you or anyone else on your team? Ignifilo says, I'm going to object to all of this. Can we have a sidebar? Judge says, okay. Okay, after this long sidebar, the judge says, jurors, we are trying to sync up. Why don't you take a break? The jurors exit. Okay, so Combs exited too with the marshals into the holding cell. Ignifilo says, let me get him. Combs is brought back in. Judge says, Miss Slavic, what was the purpose of getting into that? Slavic said, they are questioning the investigation, so we're entitled to ask this. The judge said, when I heard the question, I assumed there was going to be line of cross-examination about the fingerprint cards, like about the DNA, but that does not appear to be the case, so I'm thinking of telling the jurors to disregard. Ignifilo said, this is outrageous. Ignifilo continues, we are considering what remedies to ask for. Let me speak with my colleague. They implied that someone in this courtroom was responsible for the destruction of the fingerprint cards. Prosecution says they intended to attack the investigation. Judge says recess. Okay, so they're back. The judge says, my intent is to strike from the record any testimony about the fingerprint cards and the destruction of them. I will note that the only answers were what the witness knew about the destruction. I sustained the objection to if it was abnormal. Alexandra Shapiro said, we are going to move forward for a mistrial at this time based on the prosecution's misconduct that has occurred. Some prospective jurors said Mr. Combs could buy his way out. This type of conspiracy is out there and this bought into it. They should have ended with when the fingerprint cards were destroyed, but they asked, did he authorize it? There's no way to unring this bail. The only proper remedy here is a mistrial. Prosecution says that's absolutely unwarranted. Prosecution continues, it was Mr. Agnifilo who wanted to inquire into the DNA, into the investigation. Your Honor can just say that the jurors should not draw any inference from the destruction of the fingerprint cards. Judge says application for a mistrial denied. Judge continues, I already sustained the objections when raised. The jurors have already been told that questions are not evidence. Shapiro says Your Honor should tell the jurors that the questions were improper. Prosecution says they weren't improper. You could say disregard both. Shapiro says, can the court tell the jurors that the answers are not to be considered? The judge says, I'll tell them that the questions and answers on the fingerprints are irrelevant to the case and not to be considered. Shapiro says, thank you, Your Honor. All rise. The jurors enter. Judge says, jurors, the questions and answers on the fingerprints are irrelevant to this case and are not to be considered by you. Please proceed. Prosecution said, did you interview the owner of the Porsche? Jimenez says, Scott Mescuddy, did you reach out to others? I reached out to an assistant. Her name was Capricorn Clark, he says. Agnifilo says, I'm going to object. Judge says, rephrase. Who did you reach out to? Capricorn and Cassie Ventura. Did Capricorn respond? No. How did you reach out to Cassie? Wasn't able by phone. Tried through a family member. Did you reach her? Never. Were charges brought? No, but I never closed the case. It's listed as inactive. Prosecutor says nothing further. Judge says cross-examination. Agnifilo gets up and he says, there was a DNA hit on the glass bottle for female DNA, correct? Yes. Do you remember when the results came back? Maybe 6 months. The test on the bottle, it was important. Yes. What does it mean? Partial DNA female. I have no idea. I was told if I had a suspect, we could test against it. Any other DNA on the bottle? Objection. Rephrase. DX852, just for the witness. That's a glove, right? Yes. Did you find another glove? No. Did you test the glove for DNA? No, I understood it belonged to the owner. It was a driving glove. Your premise was that the Molotov cocktail was dropped. Did you think the person who dropped it would have worn a glove? Perhaps. It would have been hot, right? Only the wick, not the OJ premise.
It makes no sense. It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
The damage, it's on both sides of the bottle, right? Looks like it. Did Mr. Mescuddy have more than one Porsche? I think he had a second one in the garage. Why isn't it in your report? It was not involved. You were unable to reach Capricorn Clark or Cassie. When did you reach out? In the first few weeks. Are you sure? Tell us everything about these calls. I believe Capricorn's brother answered and we disagreed. And once Mr. Mescuddy told you it was his glove, you didn't investigate the glove anymore, correct? I did not. Nothing further. Judge says redirect. Prosecution says, when did you speak with Mr. Mescuddy? Same day. Nothing further. Judge says next witness. The government calls Deontay Nash. Are you under a subpoena? Yes. Do you want to be here? Absolutely not. What's your work? Celebrity stylist. In 2008, for Puff and Cassie, how'd you get hired to work for them? Through a Craigslist ad for Bad Boy Entertainment. This photo, is it a fair and accurate portrayal of how you looked at that time? Not even close. It's a glamour photo? Yes, I look amazing. How often would you see Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura interact? At least once a week. What did Mr. Combs call Miss Ventura? Bitch, hoe, CC, baby girl, slut. He would call it an outright hoe, a slut anyway. How did she react? Sad. Now, after mentioning all of the names that Diddy would call her, he said the term bitch was his favorite. Did Mr. Combs make threats? Yes. That he would beat her ass? That he'd send her sex tapes out? How often would he say he'd beat her ass? Quite a few. It drove her crazy. She would be super emotional. She might stay in the house for days. Did you attend a Vanity Fair party? Yes. Oscars after party in 2014 with Cassie. Puff was there. How did she look? She looked horrible. Her hair was objection, says Donaldson. Overruled. Her hair was long. Puff picked me up and threatened me. I pinned her hair up. She recorded music? Often. What was your role? I helped pick songs. I probably should have been called an executive. Objection, says Donaldson. Sustained, says the judge. Her mixtape, was it ever sold? No, it was put out for free, but it did well, a top download. Nash claims that he was frequently with Ventura in the studio. He said so much so that they once decorated it and slept there regularly while she recorded new songs. How much of her music was actually released? I'm being generous to say 10%. This would be a good place for a break. Jurors, you may break, the judge says. The jurors leave. Then Nash. Judge says, Miss Comey, what he'll say about 2013 is not about the tapes. No. Okay, we'll all break. Now, Deontay Nash and Cassie were very close. He worked as her stylist between 2009 and 2018. How often would Mr. Combs say you couldn't go out without his permission? Twice. The first time we went to a gay club with Cal and Adrian. According to Deontay Nash, he said that he, Cassie Ventura, Rita Ora, Adrian Bailon, and others went to a gay club and Diddy was heated. He called Cassie and while on speakerphone, he told her she better bring her ass to his house. Combs then called back and spoke to Nash and he told him that I thought I told you not to be going out since every time you want to go out, that bitch want to go. Then we went to her LA apartment. Puff called and told her she better bring her ass to the house. She panicked. What did you understand Mr. Combs was saying? Xavier Donaldson says, objection. Overruled. She packed her stuff and went to her house. Nash, who claims that he was with Cassie Ventura almost all day, alleges that he constantly overheard Combs berating and threatening his then girlfriend Cassie Ventura. When asked what threats he overheard, the stylist responded that he would beat her ass, that he wouldn't put her music out, that he would get her parents fired from their jobs, and that he would send sex tapes to their jobs. He told her that she was an outright hoe. He told her she was nothing but a slut anyway. Now, before the break ended, the prosecution wanted to speak to the judge about someone by the name of Mia. Prosecution says, we want to show Mr. Nash a photo of this afternoon's witness, Mia, without the screen in the gallery showing the photograph. The judge says, bring back in Mr. Nash and then the jury. All rise. How many times in person have you witnessed Mr. Combs be violent? Quite a few. This is a sealed exhibit. Without saying her name, do you recognize this person we'll call Mia? Yes. So let me just clue you in on Mia real quick. So Mia is victim number 4. You know, we had victim number 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 is currently missing. 1 was Cassie. 2 is a victim of Diddy. She wasn't famous. She's going to be speaking shortly. The government wants to bring Mia out because she was present the day that Diddy went inside of Kid Cudi's home. Allegedly. Now, she could speak to Diddy's mood at the time that he was actually inside of his own home, as well as email exchanges about the incident. Now, defense attorney Brian Steele said that some of the testimony veers into trial gossip, so the judge is deciding to limit some of Mia's testimony based on the defense's objection. So now that we have more information about Mia, let's continue with Deontay Nash's testimony. What were you and Mia helping Cassie pack for? The OVO Fest in Canada. Who came to the door? Puff. He said, bitch, didn't I tell you to answer your phone? Then he dragged her by her hair and hit her. How hard was he hitting her? Donaldson says, objection. Overruled. Very hard. We ran to the bedroom, but Puff pushed it open. He continued to attack Cassie with his fist. What did you do to try to help Cassie? I jumped on Puff's back. He threw me off. Mia too. Cassie's head hit the bed frame. She was bleeding, but Puff continued hitting her. Where was Mia? Getting towels? What did Mr. Combs say to you? Mia and Cassie. What did Mr. Combs say to you, Mia and Cassie? He said, look what y'all made me do. He said she'd go to the plastic surgeon. With who? D-Rock. He was Puff's security. After that, when did you see her? The next day? FaceTime or something like that. She had a gash in her eyebrow. Were you once cooking with Cassie when Mr. Combs got violent? Yes. Puff came. What did Mr. Combs say? He said, y'all better get out of my house. He was grabbing her by her hair. He pushed her out the door and then began to do the same to me. But I don't have hair. He popped me. He told me to go downstairs and wait. They came downstairs and Puff was berating us. As we drove off, we got a phone call. Objection, says Donaldson. New question, says Judge. Call from who? Puff. He told us to stop and he came to the window. He said he put her sex tape on the internet. Puff said he sent her sex tapes to her parents' job and get them fired, that her brother was a bitch and that only he could protect her. What did you tell her? That Puff is on the sex tapes too. She said he is not. He was taping with other men. What did she say about wanting or not wanting to have sex with other men? Objection, says Donaldson. Overruled. That she didn't want to. I drove her to Sunset Boulevard to get a taxi. Why? Uber wasn't really a thing yet. Puff came to my house looking for her. He looked at my oven. I'm not sure why. Puff took my phone and Cassie called from a hotel. Puff said, let's go there. A bad boy staff stayed there. What did Mr. Combs say? He said, go get her. I went to Cassie's hotel room with D-Rock and Tony. She jumped up. She was frightened. She said she would jump off the balcony. She even walked towards it. How high was it? It wasn't the first floor. Downstairs, I saw 4 or 5 Puff security waiting. Puff told me, you played me. I drove off, but Puff security followed me. I turned off my lights and drove really fast. I didn't think my home was safe to go to that night. I went to the Universal Sheraton. Did you go home the next day? Yes, I found my backpack was stolen. It had $1,000 in it. Why did you keep $1,000 cash? So when Puff was mad, I could check into a hotel without giving my name. What happened in 2015? I saw Puff slap Cassie in the face. He said, get this bitch out of here. What did you do? Got her out.
And he told me to shut my fat ass up.
And what did you do then?
I shut my fat ass up.
The Perfect Match premiere. What did you see? Cassie had a black eye. When was Mr. Combs violent with you at a music video? Yes, I was outside smoking a cigarette. Puff came and threw me on the car and started choking me out. Puff said, y'all keep going out. Did you report anything to the police? No, I was afraid of retaliation from Puff. Did you get anyone on staff? Christina Coram, KK. What did she say? That she would talk to him. Did anything change? No. How often did you help Cassie hide? Often. What did Mr. Combs do? He would blow our phones up. KK would too. She would say Puff was calm. Cassie would go back. Did Cassie tell you she was going to a hotel with Mr. Combs? Yes, weekly. She would pack sex toys. Did she say she wanted to go? Objection, says Donaldson. Overruled. She said she didn't want to. Prosecution says her 29th birthday. Tell me about it. Puff asked me should he surprise her on her birthday. What did she say? Girl, I was not about to tell him not to surprise her. Did she use the word freak off with you? Not like freak off, more like freak off. Oh, like a verb. Yes. According to Nash, Cassie's 29th birthday night started out at the Cavatina Hotel in Los Angeles. He said he overheard Combs complain to Ventura, you can't just do this one thing for me. When Nash asked Ventura about the exchange, she told him, he's just mad because I don't want to go to the hotel and freak off with him. It was the first time Nash heard her use the term freak off. The party moved to a karaoke venue, the Blind Dragon, and then several people, including Nash, Combs, and Ventura, went back to Cassie's home. There, Ventura told Nash that she and Combs were going to a hotel and that Combs was making her do that shit. Where did you go after the Blind Dragon? 875 Comstock, like 17A. Puff said y'all gonna get some dick tonight. What did Miss Ventura say? That she didn't want to go, but he made her. They left the house. She was super high. Okay, in New Year's Eve 2017, where were you? Vegas with Cassie and the staff, all on the same floor of the hotel. Puff's room was at the end of the hall. What did Mr. Combs tell you? That Cassie had been asleep for 24 hours. I had to wake her up. Did she wake up? She woke up for me. What did Mr. Combs say? That he spent all his money so she had to. Then there was this low budget producer. He busts out laughing. How many of your meetings with prosecutors did you end early? Probably all of them. Did you stay in touch with Mr. Combs? Yes. What was your tone? Loving. Why? I don't hate him. It's not in me. No further questions, says prosecutor. Judge says time for break. Okay, so we're back, but before the jury is back, prosecutors say this witness has a flight back to LA tonight. We'll rebook it if we have to, but if we could stay a little longer and finish with him, I know he'd appreciate it. The judge says, I think we can. I told the jurors we might stay to 4. The jury enters. Judge says we might stay until 4. Then he says, Mr. Donaldson, Combs' attorney. Donaldson says, how are you? Bless. When you met with the government, you had an attorney present. Yes. The subpoena didn't mean you had to go to their office. Right. You hired a civil lawyer, Mr. Dunn, to represent you, considering litigation against Mr. Combs? No. Does this document show that? It's their assumption. But no, I have counsel to protect me. I don't do federal court. Okay, Mr. Nash, on March 10th, 2025, did you not tell Ms. Comey that you are considering a civil complaint against Mr. Combs? No. DX 1800, what is this? Cassie in the video for the mixtape. And 1801, Cassie and Usher. Okay, so this is the 2016 Bad Boy reunion show. Did you pick out that dress? I don't remember. You didn't start as a celebrity stylist. It was Mr. Combs that introduced you to Cassie, right? I met her, Miss Fine, yes. So it's Mr. Combs who made you a celebrity stylist. Sure, go ahead. I am going ahead. As a celebrity stylist, you pick clothes like for Mrs. Fine's wedding? Yes. Do you know Groovy Lou? Yes. As head of Bad Boy, it was in Mr. Combs' interest that his artist, Cassie, looked good, right? I suppose. And Bad Boys paid for Cassie's studio time, right? Yes. And Miss Ventura could not go to the studio unless Mr. Combs paid, right? Yes. Okay, and what is Young and Reckless? A streetwear clothing brand. Cassie owned part of it. Mr. Combs had nothing to do with it. He had to approve everything. Wasn't Brianna Bongolan involved? As stylist, yes. Who else were you styling in 2016? Cassie, Puff, Mace, Lil' Kim, major artists, and on the mixtape, you were executive producer but got no credit. Meek Mill was on the mixtape? Yes. Pusha T? Yes. Nash says, can I take a break? Judge says yes. The jury leaves. Judge says, Mr. Donaldson, how much more? No way I'll be finished by 4. Did you know that before I told the jury it'll be done by 4? I didn't know. We'll go to 4. Prosecution says I'll rebook his flight. Okay, so while we're on break, I just want to go over some legal documents that just came in on the court system. Now, Diddy's legal team is trying to get access to documents from a recent $10 million settlement Cassie made with their Intercontinental Hotel. They say it's important because that hotel incident is a big part of this case, and they believe that Cassie's settlement details could reveal inconsistencies or show she had a financial motive while testifying. But Cassie's lawyers are pushing back hard, and they say that they already told them the truth about the settlement during her testimony, and that Diddy's team had their chance to ask all the questions they wanted to but didn't. Now they're accusing him of harassment, especially since Cassie is pregnant, but she's had her baby today. And they say that the documents are private, legally protected, and irrelevant because she didn't lie. So basically, this is a legal tug of war over whether Diddy can use Cassie's hotel settlement to challenge her credibility in court. Now let's continue. Okay, so we're back from break. Donaldson says, nice coat. Thank you. What size? Not your size. Right answer. Mr. Combs was the final decision maker? No, some of them look terrible. You are friends with Miss Fine? Yes. When's the last time you spoke to Banner? Yesterday. Not about testimony, right? Right. She saw it on the news. When'd you speak with Cassie? Yesterday. I congratulated her on having the baby. You saw her take drugs? Cocaine, ecstasy, MDA, mushrooms, and acid. I'm not like privy to that. Not to get into your business, have you ever used cocaine? Yes. You smoked pot before meeting prosecutors? Yes, and Maureen cut it short. You told her you were high? That I was smoking. Making a video costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not necessarily. Who was Mia? Puff's assistant. You and Mia jumped on Mr. Combs to protect Cassie from him, right? And to protect him from doing something worse. And D-Rock tried to protect you and not protect Mr. Combs? Yes. We're at 4 p.m., says the judge. The jury leaves. Who are the witnesses after Mia? We think she will go long, but after her, Enrique Santos. Judge says, after today, Mr. Ignifilo, give your exhibits by 5. Ignifilo says we only get back to the office by then. Ignifilo continues, we think your honor could let us meet with Mr. Combs in the SCIF here in the courthouse under your Article 3 powers. We like the SCIF every night until 10 o'clock. So the lawyers are going back and forth arguing about the exhibit time. Prosecution says we're still ahead of schedule. We may even cut some witnesses. I think we'll still rest in less than 6 weeks. We'd like to go into 2D week of June. We might bleed over into the 3rd week. Judge says, I'll look at your request to charge. Court adjourned. This was a lot. What I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything going on in trial day number 11? Leave a comment and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. As always, thanks for watching. But before you go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any of my new episodes.